Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back to round number 3 of LRC's off-season championship for realistic performance. You'll be able to notice straight away, aside from the fact that we're late, that I haven't actually got I haven't got the game source set up just yet, so let me do that real quick. Bit of a noob moment from me, hold on. Apologies for this. Obviously the stream had to be started in quite a bit of haste, so not everything has worked perfectly, but I think now... Hold on, is it gonna load? It isn't gonna load. Alright, we'll use display capture then instead. Alright. Hello, welcome to Budapest, everybody. We are here right now, and we have 1 whole minute left in qualifying, so, yeah, apologies, sincere apologies for all of the delays, but we are here now, and we're still here in time for the final seconds of qualifying, and then, most importantly, in time for the race as well. So, yeah, apologies for that, but my name is Koolest, and I'm happy to be joined in the commentary box once again by Mountie.
Hello, everybody. I am back for another week of this exciting race here in Budapest. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in North America. Yeah, really excited to this one.
Yeah, indeed. We have only 11 drivers here today, but still 11 drivers who will nonetheless be looking to put on a very good show, as is so often the case in this tournament. And as you can see here, we have Aero already at the top of the times, but crossing the line now to ever so slightly extend his advantage up at the top. Meanwhile, it's Blazer currently in second place behind him, and then it's the 2 Alpines, one of which I believe is about to cross the line. Indeed he is. It's Nade, who's now going to cross the line to go quickest of the session, so he's going to have 114.4. That's going to be good enough for provisional pole for the time being. His teammate Phil Malone crossed the line. He's done for the session, and he's going to stay in 4th place. So yeah, final times flying in right now from everybody. Zuxon crosses the line. He's able to jump up to P4, as I think that was one of the... I think that must have been Leland crossing the line. He's going to be P8, and I think that's already going to be pretty much everyone done. Blazer might be the last person on a lap, but he's down on his time, so he is not going to be improving. So that... already, a very quick fire into the session here is going to be at the end of qualifying, and Nade is going to be taking pole position for this race here in Hungary.
Obviously, we can really watch the qualifiers. We're a bit late today, but great lap, I'm sure, from Nate, obviously. And the Alpine did really well in qualifying last race. I mean, not in Miami. I wasn't there in Miami. I meant to say back in, what was before Miami? I think it was, help me here. What was before Miami?
Before Miami, we had Jeddah for the first race.
Jeddah, yes, it was in Jeddah, actually. Sorry about that. I completely forgot the schedule. But yeah, I'm not surprised by this performance. They're looking very strong against Phil in P5. He's gonna have to do a bit of work to get up in there, but overall, pole driver as he gets into P3 here with a Sauber, another great lap from him. Not surprised, as he did a great job, helped by his teammate in Jeddah as well, from what I remember. But I'm excited to see what happens in the race.
Yeah, it'd be intriguing to see how Pulldiver gets on without Loris this time. Didn't get to catch the race last week, unfortunately we weren't able to stream that, so yeah, it's I haven't had a chance to really speak to the drivers about what happened in it just yet. Was going to do that before the race, but obviously certain factors did get in the way, so we'll what we'll do is, once we have this little break before the race starts and everybody's figuring out what strategies they're going to go for, we can take a look through last week's results and get ourselves familiarised with the storylines for this one. So, it's going to be, as we say, Nade on pole position from Aero in second place. And obviously he was one of the guys who wasn't here in Jeddah, and I believe he was here last week, but I can't say that for sure because obviously we weren't there. Then Pulldiver is going to be in third place, Blazer in fourth, with Zux in fifth and Phil sixth, Hypeswolf or Reese in seventh, Lelan in eighth, the Vacuum in ninth, Nams down in 10th, and Bablo rounding off the grid in P11. So, an interesting mix of drivers ready to take the charge here around what is a very tricky circuit today. Obviously, especially so on this wonderful F124 game that Codemasters have blessed us with. That, yeah, it does not do the rear tyres any favours when you're going through the middle sector, and it's going to be very hard for these guys to try and keep on top of that for the whole race and to try and keep their cars pointed in the right direction whilst also trying to progress through the field. So, intriguing to see how they get on with that, but whilst everybody is figuring out their strategies, and I'll leave that on the screen for some background entertainment, I'm going to do exactly what I said and take a quick look through last week's results and give you a rundown of them as well. So, from Miami. Indeed, I did think Aero was there, and he wasn't just there, he won the whole thing. So, yeah, Aero is somebody who we were expecting to be a real strong front-running contender in this competition. Despite being in the Williams, he has some great underlying pace. And unfortunately, I think somebody has indeed readied up. So, yeah, I was going to say there's a couple of new faces here today with the Vacuum and Nams. So, I would have to suspect it's probably one of those guys. I can't say for certain, obviously, but somebody is going to be incurring, I believe, 2 penalty points for that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching the results. Yeah, Alpine, great results, second and third place for them. Phil coming second, Nadewall coming in third. So obviously Alpine is going to be really strong this season, and they showed again. In pole, Aero is going to be really important for maybe like trying to control them, so they don't have full domination. Because he is a really great driver from what I've seen and what I've heard from him. He is a really strong driver. Pole diver as well with the kick. Obviously, he's got the slowest car out there, possibly with the kick, the Sauber. But in third place, sorry, can be a good drive from him. And the P5 in Miami. Obviously, Miami is not the circuit I like the most, so I can't really tell what could have happened in that race. I'm probably the biggest hater in Miami. But Budapest is a really difficult race for the back tires, like you said, and also the curbs here. From what I remember, I'm not a good driver in F1 24, but if you hit the curbs, you spin. If you exit at the wrong time. That's what I remember by heart from Budapest, and I hate this race as well as a driver. But people have great concentration here, and I think they'll be better than me. And I think just keeping on the track is going to be a key, especially if you're only 11. Every mistakes, any penalties might cost you a lot of time here.
Indeed, they can. And speaking on the strategy side of things, I'm not sure if everybody even had all of the time that they'd have wanted to make any potential adjustments with us getting underway so quickly. So it's everyone on mediums apart from Pole Diver, the only driver on the hard tyres. And we saw already just how well that strategy worked out for him in Jeddah, getting him the win of the race. But obviously his teammate Loris won't be here to help him out this time around. So let's see how it goes this time. And we are going to get ready to get this race underway. As we can take a look to the front of the grid, we ride on board, the lights are out, and we are underway here in Budapest. And Nade is not going to get a good start. He gets a lot of wheel spin. We have some terrible camera angles, but we can already see that Aero is going to be taking the lead into the first corner. Is everyone going to be able to make it through cleanly behind? There's a little bit of contact there from Trains into the side of Zoxen. The 3 wide a little bit further back. You can see Blazer getting squeezed out there and having to settle into 5th place. As up the inside now, Reese is going to go, trying to have a look if he can make up a position. He's got his teammate right up behind him, but it seems like it's just about being a clean start from everybody so far as we head up to turn 4 now. Very high-speed, tricky corner where it's going to be quite hard to manage the track limits for the rest of this race, and penalties are certainly going to be another aspect that we'll have to keep an eye on, as it could end up playing a major role here, as is the nature of the DRS trains. Yes, they do happen even around Hungary, and yeah, thankfully though, it has been a clean start, and up at the front of the field, it's been a dream start for Aero, who's already got almost a second of gap to Nade behind him.
Yeah, what a start from Aero already, like you just said, almost a second already gained on his on Nade in second place. Great start from Zoxen, gained 2 places, started in P5, now it's in P3.
Oh, there's a spin behind. 2 cars have made contact there. It's Nams and Leland both spearing off into the wall. Sorry to cut you off there, but just saw it at the back of the shot, and that could be, I'm not sure, that may well be damage for the McLaren and potentially even for the Red Bull driver as well, but yeah, that is going to be very costly for those guys, such an early incident in the race. But I'm not sure if they'll be able to take the tyres to the end. They'll probably come in and stick on a set of hard tyres, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to make it to the end of the race. If it is, they might still have a chance, but that's certainly not going to help them at this stage.
Yeah, Nams went to the pits. I saw his front wing was absolutely demolished, but yeah, that's going to be kind of bad for him, obviously. It's going to be a really hard time coming back from there. They're hoping for a safety car. I don't know what the odds of a safety car here are in Hungary, as a 3-second penalty, the first penalty already for Bablo for corner cutting. It's really strict here, obviously. There's no room for error in the circuit. It's really tight, but yeah, just gotta have to keep your concentration. Like I was gonna say, Blazer and Pole Diver lost a position from the start. Blazer was getting pushed out a bit and kind of got squeezed out into losing a position. I hope he doesn't have front wing damage, but overall it was a decent start for everyone.
Oh, it's another slide. This time it's the other Red Bull of Bablo coming out of turn 11, I believe that is, and really losing the rear end. very lucky to not fall into the same fate as Leland did just a lap earlier, and yeah, gathers it up nicely. No damage for Beplo, but certainly a scary moment nonetheless, and not a very good lap for him with the penalty considered as well. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, it's time for the DRS train to really kick in. Nade was able to stay within DRS, crucially to Aero, and that means he's going to now take the lead of the race at the first corner, a side-by-side further behind between Hypeswolf and Blazer. We already saw them side-by-side on the first lap of the race. Now it's going to be roles reversed with Blazer on the inside at turn 2 and making the move stick cleanly as they head towards the right-hander at turn 3. So yeah, everybody making the first round of passes now, and I suspect, like we say, even though it's Hungary, because it's F124, you're going to be seeing plenty of this DRS train racing and plenty of overtakes throughout the race, but it is mostly going to be passes at turn 1, so that's going to become quite the strategic element later on, but the most important thing for these guys to do right now is keep in their DRS trains, and that is something that Pole Diver has not managed to do with regards to staying with the front 3 in the field. So Zuxon had a good start, he's up 2 places, and he is going to be reaping the benefits of that with the fact that he is now in the lead 3 DRS train, and everybody behind him is starting to fall back into their own different DRS trains. So it'll be intriguing to see if anyone can make the jump from one up to the next in this race. We saw, I believe it was Teddy Vaughan was able to do that in Jeddah, using some very clever strategy with an undercut, but it is always incredibly tough to do so here. So let's see if anybody is able to manage it, as we have another change of lead into the first corner. This time it's Aero passing Nade, and behind him Blazer is now going to be past Pole Diver, who seemed to be a little bit of a cock in the battle there. He's now going to be side by side with Hypeswolf, who's again going to find himself on the outside as now Nams is retired. I think he's done exactly what Bablo almost did coming out of turn 11. If you just take a look at the track map, we're not going to be able to see it unfortunately, but I think he has just lost it on the curb and spun into the wall, so unfortunately we are going to be down to 10 drivers already here.
Yeah, unfortunate for the McLaren driver. It looks like a spin, yeah, probably damage or something like that. But anyways, like it's like this race is like the Tour de France. I don't know if anyone follows cycling a bit. The first 3 got away the DRS already, so like it's like the first pack and then the peloton. Like the pack is really trying to follow up them, keep up with them. But obviously the DRS, the first 3, if they all have DRS, it's going to be faster than 4th. That is going to try to defend this place or just like let go. And the DRS train is not going to help the 4th to 7th position that are fighting for position. As another spin, I think, for one of the Red Bulls, maybe at the back.
I think it was Beplo again. Yeah, same corner,
yeah,
same mistake.
Yeah, the Red Bulls are really struggling. Maybe the setup problem, something like that. They're losing the back really often, but the back wheels here are really getting punished like hell.
As we are side by side once again at the first corner, we're going to be seeing plenty of this, so get used to it, as we might even be 3 wide heading into turn 2. That was never going to work. It was Phil who made it 3 wide with a very late move. Well, no, it wasn't necessarily a late move, but just sliding up the inside using the DRS and contact heading into the corner. I'm not sure if the car on the outside, which I think was Reese or Blazer, I've already forgotten who it was, to be honest. It all happened so quickly, but whoever was on the outside, I don't even know if they knew that they were 3 wide, but that was the case, and that was almost disaster for all 3 of those guys, and honestly, they've gotten very lucky to still all be in the race and not have any damage, as Bablo, unfortunately. Bad Day is going to continue to get worse for him with another spin, this time coming out of turn 3, and now, on hot tyres, out of turn 4, so I suspect we may be seeing the final moments of Bablo's day here. He may be about to come into the pits to retire, but yeah, the first incident did not bring out a safety car, and that was something that did have a chance to do that. So it's an interesting sign. I'm not sure why that wouldn't cause a safety car, because I would have to imagine that was a car stopped on or near the track with terminal damage. So curious moment from Codemasters there, but that is a potential chance to alter the strategy of the race that is now gone. And meanwhile, up at the front of the field, it is Nade now passing Aero once again into the lead of the race. And Zuxon is trying to follow him through this time, as Beblo has had another spin, you'll see on the minimap, and Zuxon is able to get through into second place as Aero has a snap of oversteer there, and that might be enough for Pole Diver, who has somehow been able to clear the whole pack behind him. On the hard tyres now, which are seemingly already going into his favour, he's now back into DRS from those front guys. So, yeah, the advantage that we saw has swung very, very quickly here, such as the nature of the tyre wear around a circuit like this, and probably more so the tyre temperature regulation. Going to be a lot easier on the hard tyres, and that is showing very clearly through Pole Diver's pace at the moment.
I am really interested to see who has damage. Obviously, like, from the front wings, I'm seeing there's no apparent damage on the front wings, but on the side cars, the bodies of the cars, who has damage? Because that middle car got sandwiched like it was a BLT on a Saturday evening. But yeah, you know, it's like it's that's gonna make Pull Diver be able to, like, you know, get away from that pack, because I think he wasn't involved in that. Maybe, if I don't remember correctly, but that's what caused him to join the pack for the podium chase. And as the Red Bulls are just sliding everywhere like it's a Friday night Bell Center in Montreal. But yeah, no, it's really interesting to see who can keep it on the track. Because obviously, 3 wide was not the smartest idea. Maybe someone didn't see it was 3 wide. But yeah, I saw debris flying everywhere. So someone has damage, or there must be damage somewhere. Obviously, we'll see if it affects them as much as they do.
As whilst you were talking about that, we had another change of lead, and this time it's Zuxon getting into the lead of the race for the first time here. So yeah, this is exactly what we're expecting to see. Even at Hungary, like I say, the DRS trains will persevere, and we will continue to have a swapping of places throughout the race. So going to be plenty entertaining for us, but presumably plenty frustrating for these guys, who, no matter what their raw pace is, really, they are not going to be able to break away from this DRS train, as unfortunately for Red Bull, things just are not going very well, and things are not going well for Blazer as well, who's had a spin of his own in the middle sector, and that's going to be very costly for him, because he was running strong in the second pack in this race, and he is now going to be well and truly out of that, and probably another driver praying for some kind of miracle with some kind of intervention later in the race.
Yeah, obviously, if you have a bad race like that, if you spin when you're near the pack, you're as Nate nowadays in the pits right now, first pit. For the mediums, like, that's probably gonna be a 2-stopper, maybe.
I would.
It's interesting.
Yeah, if he's pitting that early, I mean, it's going to switch onto a set of hard tires, so can't say for sure, but if the tire wear is that heavy, I would have to be inclined to agree with you that he may be looking for a 2-stop here.
Yeah, I refuse to believe a hard tire can last that many laps. I refuse it. That's especially here with the back tires. You'll be sliding like a. You'll be sliding everywhere. It's not the smartest decision to maybe. If you can, like, hold on to the mediums that long, if you can actually maintain it, it's possible, but it's gonna be hard. At the end of the race, you're gonna be slower than everyone, and that might backfire to you. But Zoxon so far, a great race so far. So P5 is in P1 right now, as Vacuum gets a 3-second penalty for multiple wing. I think it's like track limits probably, as he's chasing his teammate. But hey, no. We'll see how it goes with that strategy. I'm interested in that.
Yeah, indeed. Fluxon is putting in a very strong drive so far, and I think what's going to be the watermark for Nade to really take a look at is how long can Pull Diver go on his hards. Obviously, he's the only driver who started on the hard tyres, so he's making it work with some strong pace right now. He's going to be on the back of Aero and presumably looking to get straight past into turn 1 here. Won't want to be continuing to get held up by the Williams driver, and indeed going to deploy plenty of battery to get ahead, and I don't think Aero is going to fight that too hard. He knows there's plenty of time still left in the race. One thing I will say about Aero is he has certainly a strategic advantage potentially over the other drivers. He has a lot of experience as a team principal and planning race strategies, so you can always expect that failing a safety car, he's going to come into a race with the perfect strategy already prepared. So he's going to be another guy to keep an eye on here just to see what he can do, as there was briefly a yellow flag further down the field, but I'm not sure what that was for. It may have just been for one of the Red Bulls again, unfortunately, but yeah, I'll leave them in peace at this stage.
Yeah, coming out the pits, he just wanted to ask Pablo again another spin. I think, yeah, this is going to be it for him, but it's been it for the Red Bulls for a long time, let's be honest. Let's not make a joke about them, but they've been all laid from this competition. But no, the yellow flag was just the Red Bull coming out the pits, and sportsmanship. Just let the two cars racing behind him pass, so he was slower, so they called it yellow flag.
Fair enough. And what we can see up at the front of the field is pretty much exactly what we were expecting. Pull Diver has instantly been able to get back into DRS range of Zux and reel him back in, and just about been able to drag Aero with him, so Aero will be staying in. Presumably, he should be staying in and around the DRS range of Zuxon, which is really all that he needs to do at this point, is make sure that he's not fallen too far behind the Ferrari, because he is on the same strategy, so he does need to be within touch and distance of the German come the end of the race. As Nade is going to be making his first move since coming back out of the pits, and it's going to be on Blazer this time, so past he goes down the start-finish straight, just a simple DRS pass, and up into P7. He's going to have himself a bit of clean air now. I think Blaze is going to try to tag along with the back of him, but I'd be stunned if he could make it through the middle sector while still being within DRS range to the Alpine driver, so I think, yeah, the spin has really cost the American here today, and I think he's certainly going to be ruin the missed opportunities around what is a track that he does generally tend to very much enjoy, so well, yes, we'll see if we can maybe have a chat to him after the race about that and see what happened there. But back towards the front of the field, it is Pool Diver now all over the back of Zuxin, and presumably going to be making light work of the Ferrari driver the second they get into the start-finish straight, if not sooner, with the way he's pushing him around the back of the penultimate corner and almost actually hitting him into the final turn, such as the grip advantage that he has over the Ferrari at this stage in proceedings. And yeah, it is just going to be a simple DRS move, pulls to the inside, and once again, Zuxin isn't going to fight it too hard. As
Phil's in the pits.
Old Ever cuts in a little bit late there, and yet Phil is going to be in the pits now, so 3 laps longer than his teammate of Nade. And I think Phil might just be into the range where he could probably, or possibly, make those hards last until the end of the race. So still going to be dealing with quite a bit of wear on those tyres come the end, I would imagine, but I think he's done well to make them last that long, and I think that's going to be the big question mark here, is you're going to gain a lot from doing an undercut in terms of raw track position, because the hard tyres are so much better than the mediums at this stage in the medium tyre world's life. But are you going to be able to keep the track position that you've gained when your tyres start to wear out later on in the race and everybody else has fresher tyres than you? That's going to be the dichotomy that we'll see unfold. So certainly going to be an interesting race of strategy, and what it also will mean, as I will just quickly give mention to the fact that Beblo has indeed now retired in the pit lane, so that will not trigger any kind of safety car. What that will also mean is that the DRS trains are going to be quite severely broken up here, and that is going to give a chance to these guys to try and let the raw pace show through. As yeah, you're right, that is the AlphaTauri driver, or the V-Carb, or Racing Bulls, whatever it is, spun around at 10-11, and yeah, that corner has caught out quite a few drivers today.
You know, the curbs are, like I was saying in the pre-race, yeah, they don't leave any leads as a double pit from Aero. Everybody's pitting now, I think, high pits as well. But I was gonna ask you, do you know what's the window frame? It must be the window now. People are pushing their tires to the limit now. Paul Dever obviously in the hard has the advantage, but Zuxin I think is on medium still. So I wonder when he's gonna pit. Is he pitting this lap? Maybe trying to get the DRS, maybe a little advantage. Great lap behind Paul Dever before pitting, but how long can those mediums last?
Well, we saw that this was almost very nearly the unraveling of Zuxin in Saudi Arabia, was that he tried to stay out a lap longer than everybody else, and that really ended up costing him. So let's see if it's going to be the same mistake here, because obviously what's happened is he was the first driver on the medium tyres on the track, so he didn't have anybody else to go off of as a reference. He had to make the call all on his own, and yeah, he decided to stay out for another lap, and it's going to be very intriguing to see how much will it cost him. The main thing is, like I say, he does not necessarily need to come out ahead of everybody else, he just needs to come out still within DRS of the likes of Aero around him. So into the pits he comes now, not going to waste too much time, and I think that is certainly a sensible call. Going to be strapping on a set of hards, and I would have to imagine that all of these guys are going to be, at the very least, aiming to go to the end of the race from here, and I think it is only just going to be Nade who might be in a little bit of trouble come the end, to see if he can actually make the tyres last, and to see if he can make them last with any degree of pace. But here we go now. You can see Blazer's actually got Aero trapped up right behind him, so that might have cost the Williams driver a little bit of time. So he's going to make the move now, and you can see, well, you saw for a brief moment there is the Ferrari of Zuxin exiting pits on the inside of turn 1, going to be side by side with Phil Malone here, who's obviously was a lot further back than Zuxin before the pit stops happened, pitted 2 laps earlier, and now is going to be ahead of the Ferrari driver on the track. And still, these guys are getting held up by Blazer once again. The American, despite being out of his own race, is very much still impeding these guys. He hops the curb, pushes Phil way wide there. I can certainly imagine that there's going to be some angry words said in the cockpit of the German here, and his fellow countryman's going to try to follow him through with a look to the inside of the chicane, but Zuxin isn't able to do so just yet. Now Blazer is going to, well, relent and let the Ferrari driver through, but I think that is a few sectors too late, to be honest, on his part, if he was looking to not interfere with the battle too much, as now Phil and Zuxin are a whole 2 seconds behind Aero, and that might have drastically changed their race, especially in the case of Zuxin, who it seems might have made the same mistake that he did in Jeddah.
I can't believe you just maybe have made the same mistakes. Like, obviously, the pit strategies. Everybody wants to be different sometimes. Like some people want to be gambling. They don't want to play it safe, but obviously, sometimes it just backfires. And then like maybe that might be the second race in a row that we see Zuxin doing the wrong strategy, as he doesn't move here into turn one onto Phil. But he went off the track, so he got a 3-second penalty here, which is going to be affecting his race a lot. But yeah, Blazer obviously. I think Blazer might have got the worst from that sandwich earlier on, because I don't really see him having any pace today compared to what he did before. But no, Phil obviously is going to try to hunt. But obviously with the penalty, he's kind of safe, but he needs to get past Zuxin as soon as possible to maybe do a lunge for Aero. And I'm really interested to see as well if Nadia, all my eyes on Nadia. How can he really go all the way with those tires? It's gonna be if he does, I honestly, I'll give him flowers. I will personally ship him flowers from Canada, to his house, because that will be like a phenomenal drive. And I will also want to know at what lap around pole diver is supposed to pit, because they didn't show us the window of what tires can last until when. So I'm really interested of what the outcome is gonna be.
Yeah, certainly is still a lot of twists and turns left to play out in this race, and this is certainly what we want to see, with the strategy unfold in various different ways. And I think you're very much right to point out, if Nade can make these tyres last, he's got a whole 7 seconds of gap to Aero to try to cling onto as much as he can until the end of the race. So if he has got the tyre whispering skills to make this work, then he might find himself in a very strong position. But if Aero catches him and if Aero gets into his DRS, it is going to be very, very tough, you would have to imagine, for the Alpine driver to put up any real strong fight on such old tyres. But then again, it is only 4-lap older tyres, and maybe, just maybe, that is enough that the DRS train effect will be able to keep him competitive right up until the checkered flag. There's a lot of ways this one can still pan out, and obviously, like you say, we don't even know what's going to go on with Pool Diver yet. We don't know when he's going to be into the pits, and more importantly, we don't know how fast he's going to be once he gets out of the pits. So yeah, a lot still left to happen in this race, as Zuxin is now, as we saw, clear of Phil Malone. They had a pretty tough old battle of things, but yeah, the Ferrari driver was able to get ahead, and seems like has not really been able to make any inroads on Aero at this stage. He might have been a couple of tenths faster on this lap, but he's going to need to be a little bit more than that if he does actually want to catch back up to the Williams driver and make sure that he is still throwing his hat into the ring to be in contention to win the race without some kind of safety car intervention, because with only 8 drivers left on the grid or left in the race, that is looking increasingly unlikely here.
Obviously, Nate and Nade in second place. Maybe he's giving some good old words of wisdom to Phil, because he really needs him to pass Zuxin right now. Obviously, with the penalty, it's like Petrov and Alonso back in Saudi. I think 2011, if I remember correctly. He needs to pass him, because maybe Nade is praying for his teammate to go chase after Aero and make him lose time, so he can be a bit more safer on those old tires. Maybe that's what they're trying to do with that undercut. Was they were hoping that Phil could maybe get behind Nade or chase after Aero was going to be in third place. And right now, because of Zuxin is such a good at defending and also is a burden for Phil right now, maybe it's kind of screwing up their plans. And as Aero is closing the gap on Nade slowly, now 6.4. I think it was 7 last lap. But yeah, no, it's the gap is narrowing soon.
And yeah, I think it has. I think we do owe Phil some credit to talk about his race a little bit, because he is obviously, in theory, just as in the fight as Zuxin is at the moment, if Zuxin were able to pull himself up to the back of the Williams, but the gap is still exactly the same as it was this time last lap, 2.6 seconds, so it seems these guys are truly very evenly matched on pace, which is pretty reflective of what we saw in qualifying, to be fair. But yeah, Aero is now, as you rightly point out, closing on Nade, and I think if he keeps on closing, yeah, I don't think it's quite a second a lap, but it is certainly a big advantage in his favour. So if he keeps on going at that rate, and if he's able to hold into the tyres whilst he does it, then there's no doubt he's going to be able to catch up to the Costa Rican driver before the end of the race here. So yeah, make sure to stick around. There's plenty still left to go on here. Plenty of battles left to brew, and yeah, Phil is just at the moment sticking in the DRS of Zuxin, seeing if the Ferrari driver can pull him along. He has managed to gain 2 tenths on Aero this time around, so I think it might have just been a little mistake from Aero somewhere, because he's also lost a couple of tenths to Nade. So yeah, unfortunately for these guys, I don't really see them being able to get back into that fight for the win. So it may just end up being the case that these guys are going to have to fight things out with each other in what is probably going to be, well, it's going to be either a battle for fourth or potentially a battle for third, depending on how Pool Diver's strategy plays out. But you'd have to imagine he's going to end up getting to somewhere around these guys, and once he's on the medium tyres, should be quicker, even though they will be on the hards, which were better earlier in the race than the mediums, but they will be a lot more worn out by that stage. So, yeah, all still to play for here, and a lot of ways that this can shake out, but at the moment, I think it is just the raw pace advantage of Aero to the guys behind him and to the guy ahead of him that is going to be causing a little bit of concern to these guys at this stage.
Yes. I mean, Phil is driving a great race so far, from what I'm watching. Obviously, stuck behind Zoxon again. I'll repeat myself. But the gap to Arrow is not that bad. 2.4, it's doable. Throw a penalty in there, and you'll see them running for that position. As much as a kid on the Easter Bunny, I don't know if you do that in Europe, but Easter egg hunt, like they'll be running for those eggs and and trying to get the chocolate, which is the third place right now, the chocolate medal, as some people say, but no, obviously, Phil just needs to get that pass. I'm sorry, I really love Phil, so maybe I got some bias for him. I have nothing against Zuxon. It's just because like I really like when Phil drives as good as he can. So it's really enraging you seeing him stuck that much behind Zuxon when he has DRS. Obviously, the gap has always been 0.5. So even with the DRS, he's not really moving forward. But yeah, Arrow 6 seconds, 6.5, 5.7. Sorry. I said second in the lap because I think he just had a bad lap. So from what I've seen, he did lose a second in the lap. So maybe that was just a small mistake. As Blaze is in the pit right now. But obviously that's not his race so far. He lost 3 places, been into a crash, so unfortunate for him. But we'll keep looking up for whenever Pool pits, and also just nowadays 4 seconds. He's closing the gap as well. Slowly, we've been focusing on 3, 4, 5, but nowadays getting closer, and that might be a great gap for the lead when Pool Diver pits.
Yeah, it's certainly something interesting to keep on top of, and I think that might just be the watermark that I was talking about earlier on in the race of how long is Pool Diver going to be able to make his tyres last. Now, obviously, there is the caveat, which is that Pool Diver is doing this earlier in the race, which means he's going to be running this stint on a lot higher fuel than the guys who are starting on the mediums and then moving to the hards. But if he's starting to run out of pace already on only lap 19, then Nade, who was looking to do, what, I think it would have been 20 something. I think it would have been 27, 27, 28.
26, 27, yeah, something like that, 27, something like that, yeah.
Something around that window. If Pool Diver's losing pace on lap 20, then you can only imagine the kind of strife that Nade might be in come the end of the race, even with lesser fuel. So it's yeah, going to be intriguing to see for him. He's doing very well right now, but he is, as you pointed out, and as we've been keeping on top of, losing time to Aero, despite how much he is indeed gaining to Pool Diver. So I think for these guys in first and second at the moment, things aren't looking quite perfect, and Pool Diver's track position advantage was going to be something that was going to be able to help him out quite a bit with leaving the pits and not having too much work to do. But at this stage, if he was to come into the pits this lap, he would come out a long way behind Phil in 5th place, and potentially even behind Hypeswolf in 6th place. So unfortunately for Pool Diver, it seems like this strategy does not seem to be working out too much in his favour at this stage of things, but obviously, it's still 15 laps left to go in the race, anything can happen, and will be intriguing to see how he gets on, but he's going to stay out for the time being because he wants to have the freshest medium tyres available. He does make his pit stop so that he can go full charge to the checkered flag here and try to salvage whatever he can from what is left on the table in this race.
Yeah, everybody's so good at closing their gaps. The gap to Zox and to Air was 1.5. Obviously, he's going to penalty, so for him, it's more about Phil. That might be important for him to overtake both of them, but the gap is melting like snow, snow on sun. You know what I mean? It used to be around like 2.6. Now it's 1.4. I don't know if it's a mistake from Arrow somewhere, but Zoxon's driving really well. To be honest, like we said before, so maybe it's just a brilliant drive from Phil and Zoxon, and Arrow is just driving like.
Big snap of
was I miss
something there, sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, no, we'll see what happens. Obviously, the gaps are really like coming closer and closer. So the pits, the strategies, obviously, they didn't really have time at the start of the race to do the strategies. Maybe that's why. But nah, the strategies today are a lot of hit and miss.
Yeah, indeed. This is certainly interesting. I hadn't even picked up on this until you mentioned it, but yeah, Zuxon has really closed the gap on Aero. Might even
It's
be
in
to the
DRS now.
extent that he's going to be in DRS this time, but it's going to be close. I think he might just be on the wrong side of things here, unless he gets a really good run through the final couple of corners. But yeah, Aero is still all the while gaining on Nade, so it's not like he's making any kind of mistakes. It's just, I think this is just a potentially either a pace advantage for Zuxon, or potentially Aero might be trying to
True.
save some tyres and save some battery at this stage, because he might have seen something. Like I say, he's got that strategic brain, and he might have seen something with the tyre wear that makes him think, hang on, there might not be enough life left in my tyres at the moment if I keep going at the rate I'm at, so let me save a little bit for the end of the race and make sure that I am still able to push fully and take advantage of what is probably going to be a four-way DRS train fight brewing between these guys now. Zuxon and Phil are pretty much into his DRS, and almost certainly will be this time by if they can keep up even a fraction of the pace they had last time around. And yeah, they are all still continuing to close the gap to Nade, who we're expecting to really suffer with tyre work on the end of the race if Pooldiver's pace is anything to go by, as he is still losing time hand over fist to the Alpine behind him, despite the Alpine behind him not being on optimal hard tyres. So yeah, everybody at the moment is just converging in on each other, but still a couple of twists of the
DRS.
strategy left to play out here.
They don't have DRS, I think maybe now, which is going to be really interesting. I think this is going to be the battle to watch on for the rest of now. Obviously, I don't understand how Pooldiver is still going on those tires. I have to give him my hat off, like, because that is something of a drive. 23 on the same tire here, sublime drive. But Zoxon obviously in the Ferrari kind of has the advantage on the Williams, and the Alpine is close behind. But we'll see what can happen with the DRS now. Obviously, 0.7 to Aero and 0.4 to Phil behind them. So we'll see, because this is the main battle now for the bottom side of the podium, or even P2, because when Pooldiver is gonna have to pit, they're gonna come back on top. So let's see what happens now. As 1.3 Nade from I think Blazers spun in the almost
That's
final
it.
turn.
And
Yeah,
that
oh,
is going to
safety
bring out
VSC.
a virtual safety car. So that is going to be it. Depending on how long that stays out for, that might help out Pooldiver quite a lot here. It's going to be a little bit touch and go, I would have to imagine. Pooldiver will certainly come in this time by, and I think that is going to be enough to help him out a little bit, but I would suspect that the VSC might end whilst he's already in the pit lane, so I don't think he's going to get a full advantage, but that is all up in the air at the moment. Blazer retires from the session here. I will point out the possibility that he did seem to be stopped for an unusually long amount of time there. Not sure if there was any issues on his end, and we'll try to have his side of the story before jumping to any conclusions, but we see in NASCAR occasionally that some drivers will try to bring out a virtual safety car. Well, no virtual safety car, but they'll try to bring out a caution there, so yeah, I would have to say, given that Blazer is instantly retired, I don't think that's going to be the case, but unfortunately, F124 has struck in prime fashion, and Blazer's retired car decided to stop halfway down the pit lane, and that held up Pooldiver for a good few seconds there. Really didn't need that, because he's already going to be a long way behind the rest of the guys ahead of him, as you can see by the track map. But just some more Codemaster shenanigans to keep us on our toes here with whatever just went on there. So that was certainly quite bizarre, but anyway, we are indeed back to green flag run, and it was basically the second that Pooldiver crossed the pit limiter line that we did indeed go back green. So yeah, not really going to be getting helped by that too much after all, and it is just going to be a long hard charge for him now to see if he can get anywhere near these guys. He's got 15 seconds worth of gap to overturn on fresh medium tyres, and he has 11 laps to do it.
I mean, it's gonna take a hell of a drive, or some shenanigans of a safety car. But yeah, no, obviously I didn't see the pit stop, but if that's really what happened, it's completely unfortunate. This game is so good, but at running races, it's actually embarrassing. But we're not Codemaster, we're not EA, so we can't do anything about it. But Nade, again, the tires, 11 laps left to go. Can he manage to keep that 0.8 seconds, and maybe go on for the win? as Zoxon takes over with the DRS here to second place against Arrow.
This has been a long time coming for the Ferrari driver. He's seen the Williams up the road for about the last 12 or 13 laps in this race, but finally he is now able to make the move. He's caught up to him and he is now past the Portuguese driver. So, yeah, it's going to be very intriguing to see exactly what you described. How long can Nade hold on for? The gap is already down to 3.3 seconds. I think it's absolutely inevitable at this stage that those guys will catch him, but the question will be, will his tyres go off to the extent that even with the DRS train he's not able to put up a fight? That is going to be the ultimate question for him right now, and that is, I'm sure, what's going to be on his mind as he tries to caress the car through the middle sector and put as little energy through those front and rear tyres as he possibly can to keep them in the best window that he can here, and make sure as well that he keeps himself on the track, which is going to be something that could have quite strong consequences for the likes of Zoxon, who already has that 3-second penalty. He was off the track earlier on in the previous lap. I believe that was also coming out of turn 11. So, yeah, the Ferrari driver, I think, is going to be in a bit of trouble here with regards to actually being able to put up a legitimate fight for the win because of that 3-second penalty. So, let's see what he can do. If the guys around him get penalties, then he'll be laughing, but I do find that quite unlikely at this stage in the race. I think people are going to be very aware of that and trying to be very cautious to make sure that they stay within the limits of the track, and everybody's going to have a great feel for their car at this stage after 26 laps. So it's going to be, in my opinion, I think it might be unlikely that Zoxon is going to get the lifeline he needs here, and may just be forced to try and settle for some kind of third or potentially even fourth place finish, depending on how good Nade's pace is for the rest of the race.
I said the same thing in Jeddah about penalties and driving behind people with penalties. Don't do anything stupid. Just keep it on the track. What do you have to lose? You have a 3-second gap that you can have leeway to. Right now, Zoxon finishes 4th. Phil and Arrow, who are behind them, they don't have no reason at all. Maybe to fight, maybe start for 2nd place, but what's the point? Like, what, a couple points? Not worth it. Bring the points home. Don't do anything stupid that might cause you to crash or get a penalty. Because at this point of the race, you're so far in it that a penalty can actually change the whole plan of the game. By example, if Phil gets a penalty, by example, and Zoxon's in 2nd place, if he can't overtake Arrow or something like that, he's screwed. He's stuck in there. So, or even that, he needs to pass Zoxon. Sorry about that. If that happens, so like, it's all gonna be a plan of just like keep it on the track. Don't do anything stupid. Like, don't take a penalty at this point of the race. It literally will ruin your race. Just stay safe behind Zoxon. Zoxon is trying to take over Nade, so he can maybe get into the podium by making Nade fall into the DRS train. And with his tires being 4 laps around, Olden and the other guys, they might overtake him, so he might stay in the podium. That's what he's trying to do right now. But if you're Arrow and Phil, just stay behind Zoxon and see what happens. That's all I'm asking them to do. from a committee perspective.
That is all they need to do at this stage at the moment, is just keep themselves in this fight, keep themselves behind the Ferrari, keep themselves in DRS, and I think they will have no trouble doing just that. If they stay within the track limits, then what is most likely here at this stage is that we're going to be seeing a battle between Arrow and Phil for what should be the win of the race, unless Nade has some magical pace still in those tyres. So, going to be very intriguing to see how this plays out. We're now down to less than 2 seconds to the gap from Nade down to Zoxon here, so it is still coming down, and it does seem certain at this stage that they are going to catch up to Nade at some point. And like we said, it's going to be a question of how well can he hang on in the DRS stream. Will he be able to fight on such worn tyres? But what it will mean is if we do end up having that kind of situation pan out, like I say, it'll mean that it's Aero versus Phil for the win of the race is the most likely option. So it's going to be intriguing to see how those guys fight, and it'll be also intriguing to see, obviously, there is 2 drivers of the same team here, Nade and Phil. Don't forget they are teammates, so I would have to imagine if Nade is going to go down and struggle with tyre wear in this race, maybe, just maybe, he's going to go down trying to help his teammate out and to see if he can throw Aero off of his game and hold him up long enough that Phil's able to get past. We'll have to wait and see.
Maybe he'll pull up at Loris, who knows? Loris in Saudi just took out everyone. So Phil gets a free win? Oh no, I'm joking. Obviously, let's hope that does not happen. Let's keep it safe. But the gap is DRS now. It's all gone bad for the decision of the pitting like that many laps earlier. I thought it was a two stopper, and when it's kept on for that long, I was like, okay, he's doing a 1 stop, and that's just ballsy. Like I maybe was wishing for a safety car. I think personally, Nardi was wishing for a safety car or something to happen, and it never came. So I think he's in trouble now. Pole diver, that's just unfortunate for his pit stop. The little mess up there, the little issue he had, because 9.7, he has great pace. If he came back as Zoxon takes the lead of the race here, which is a great important step, like I was saying, he needs to take that first place, and now they needs to defend Arrow for Phil to take over.
And Arrow spins. Arrow spins it.
Arrow.
He was right up behind Nade, coming out of the corner there. Nade had such little traction compared to what Arrow was able to have on his much fresher tyres, and I think that was what's caused him to make that mistake. But it is a very costly mistake potentially here for Arrow. He's only 3 seconds behind Phil, but we've already seen in this race that the pace advantage and the pace deficit is, well, almost non-existent for most of the time. Everybody's very evenly matched, and that could be really, really costly for Arrow in this race. It's just a tiny mistake. I think he just... presumably, knowing the Codemaster's physics, I think what's happened is the very front of his car has just locked onto the rear rain light effectively, onto the diffuser of Nade for a second, and that has just broken all rear traction, and the car's just snapped on him. So very unfortunate for Arrow there, and a little bit of a victim of circumstance, but that might just mean that now Phil is probably going to be in prime position to win the race unless Nade is able to continue putting up a fight for the next 6 laps here. So yeah, drama around every turn at Hungary, and it is still far from over just yet, and that is proven by just what kind of shocking scenario has unfolded here, as into the first corner this time around, looks like everyone is going to hold position.
What's the team order is going to be? Who passes who? Keep positions, switch faster, tires. But hey, Arrow, that's a spin. I was not expecting that this happened in the race. He has 5 laps to gain 1.3 seconds, so he can get into that penalty time. I don't think I don't think he has enough laps. I don't think he's got it in him, because all he had to do was to keep it under a second, I think, and like not 1.5 like he is right now, 1.3. And maybe he has a shot at taking advantage of Zoxon's penalty. Right now, Zoxon's in paradise. We thought he was going to finish 4th with that penalty. Now he's in 3rd.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
It's gonna be a little bit of a softer blow for him, but make no mistake, if Zoxon crosses the line and takes the checkered flag first, he will be certainly devastated about the fact that he did indeed pick up the penalty earlier in the race. So we'll see if maybe, just maybe, he can argue some kind of case that that he's able to remove the penalty from being pushed off track or whatever it might be, but that is generally a pretty unlikely scenario, and I do think I've seen him off the track a couple of times since he did pick up the penalty. So yeah, unfortunately for the Ferrari driver, I think he is just going to be limited to trying to cling on to this podium position here, as it's going to be between the 2 Alpines to fight it out for a 1-2 finish in the race as things stand. And yeah, it's going to be intriguing to see. This is going to be a real test of the friendship and of the teamwork between these 2 guys. Is everyone, are they both going to be able to agree to an order in which they should cross the finishing line, or is it just going to be a fair, open game between the 2 of them? They can race hard, and they just have to try and race fair and try not to take each other out, and also try not to lose too much time to Zoxon, which is what Nade is seemingly doing a little bit here through the middle sector. He's dropped back to around, he was down to 8 tenths, but seems to have found a little bit more speed here, so crisis averted there. They are still going to be within DRS to the Ferrari driver, which is very important for them, but yeah, it's going to be very intriguing to see how these guys decide to settle things here, if they can agree to an order, or if they do decide to just fight it out and let it be fair game between the 2 of them.
Nade is James, let Phil pass, he is faster than you. That's I'm joking. But Flash, I remember Mercedes days back in the days with Bottas and Hamilton, but I don't know, maybe Nade deserves it. Oh, I said he does a move. I'm shining on my ass. Phil goes through. I was gonna say maybe Nade deserves it because of his tire management, but now the tires must be dead. They must be absolutely cooked. Yeah. They must be. They must be in the red almost. Like it's. How many laps is he on? Is that a thing? Can we see
I'm
this?
not sure.
He's on 24.
Yes,
he's on 24
laps old, and there's still 3 laps left to go. So, yeah, I can tell you exactly why. I can tell you exactly why Phil's gotten past him. It's because Nade did end up dropping out of DRS range to Zoxon. You can see that now materialising. A 1.3 second gap and potentially a lifeline to the Ferrari driver if he has some kind of underlying pace advantage over the Alpine behind him. Phil is going to have to go full push now to try and get back into DRS range, or at the very least, to stay within range of that 3-second penalty that Zuxon has. So, yeah, it is, like I say, it's not over till it's over. There's still plenty of ways this can go, as, yeah, Nade just needs to stick with his teammate at this stage. Phil's made the passes much quicker at this point. Nade just trying to nurse those tyres home and make sure they even stay on his car come the end of the race. So, yeah, doing a good job at the moment, and Aero is starting to catch back up to these guys. He's got the gap down to 2.7 seconds, but I think unless Nade's tyres really drop off the cliff in the next lap or so, then it's going to be unlikely for Aero to take anything better than a 4th place in this race, failing some kind of mistake or penalty. But obviously, those things can still happen here. So, yeah, only 3 more tours left of the circuit here, but still, everything is up in the air at the moment.
Yeah, no, everything's up in the air, you know. I think personally, maybe they realized a bit too late that the time was going a bit further from each other, from the leader to 2nd place, but 1.7 is still in the gap. Obviously, I think they're just trying to get Nade to finish 2nd place. They're trying to get that 1-2 as much as possible. So I think they're just gonna keep him the same the DRS, give Nade the DRS from Phil, and trying to bring it home, because right now the gap is 1.2. 1.8, sorry. So Zuxon is driving. He don't care about tires anymore. I don't think he cares about his tires. He's going all out, trying to get that 2nd place if it's possible. As now they drop shot from DRS right before the detection zone. So,
this is very interesting. Because
it's really interesting now.
What was happening is exactly what you were describing. Phil was trying, I would imagine, to keep Nade in DRS to protect him from the oncoming Williams behind him, who is closing very, very quickly here, of Aero. But Phil hasn't been able to do that because Zuxon has got some great pace here. He's capitalising, he's not wasting any time. He knows he needs a 3-second gap, and so he started to really push and really open up that gap through the middle sector. So Phil has basically just had to say, I'm sorry, Nade, but I'm going to have to abandon you here and push on for my own race, because what we cannot do is throw away what was a clear shot at our own victory here. And yeah, Phil has had to, because of that, go and push on here. So the gap is going to be 1.8 seconds roughly still as they head into the middle sector now, but this is where Zuxon was able to eke out the gap. So we'll ride on board with the Alpine driver here, see if he's able to be any faster through the middle sector this time around, and it does seem like the gap is certainly, at the very least, not extending at all, and has actually reduced by about 1/10 of a second here. So I think Phil should have still enough pace left in the tank to get this one over the line and survive the final lap of the race here, but it is only one mistake away from things going badly wrong for any of these 4 drivers at the front of the grid.
When you think about it, right now, Nade is going to finish in 3rd place because of the penalty. Zuxon has flown by when you go to 1st place, killing that penalty. I can't believe he's actually done it. But I gotta look back at it now. If he just pit maybe 2 laps later, I think he gets that P2. I think it's just he pitted way too early for an undercut, or just for that strategy. I don't know. Maybe he was thinking he's not gonna do it. He's not gonna be the only one doing it. But man, that's guttering for the Alpine, because that was a 1-2 secured in the bag after that penalty, and it's just like that strategy was just not it when you look back at it.
And the man who's been inflicting said pain upon them is Zuxon, who I think, like I say, is still going to be really disappointed by the fact here, as there's a spun Red Bull and almost a spun Zuxon there, losing the back end coming out of the chicane. Final lap, you've got to be careful here. But yeah, he is still trying to go absolute full push all the way to the checkered flag here, if there's any chance that Phil's to make a mistake behind him, because he desperately wants the win of this race. Clearly he's had the pace and the strategy and the wherewithal to do it, but unfortunately it looks like the penalty is going to cost him here. So Zuxon making his way around the final corners now. The gap is nowhere near big enough for him to hold on to the position, as Nade picks up 3 seconds, and that is going to demote him off of the podium in the final stages of the race. Zuxon, out of the final corner, takes the checkered flag first, but it'll be Phil who takes victory here in Budapest, and Zuxon has to settle for 2nd. Nade has to settle for 4th. Penalty on the final sector of the race. Aero is going to get himself, despite the spin, back up into P3, and it's going to be Paul Diver a long way behind them in P5 after everything, unfortunately, unraveled for him earlier in the race with his strategy. What an end to the race. That was a lot to keep on top of there.
Joy and disaster for the Alpine at the same time. one sector away from being a P3, and you got a penalty. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Were the tires that bad that he slipped and got off track? I couldn't see it. I just saw it was a penalty. I couldn't believe my eyes. But great job for Aero to sticking up to it after the spin, and clean drive to take that third place. But without counting that spin, but what a drive from Phil again, staying right close to Zoxon, who gave it his all to maybe counter that penalty. But no, great race from the Alpine driver.
Absolutely. Well, it's yeah, a lot of change in the final moments there, and Nardi was so close to being able to hang on to a 1-2 finish for Alpine, but then suddenly all fell apart and ended up with not even being on the podium at all. So very unfortunate for him, but that was always the risk, I suppose, with that strategy, that you just run out of grip and it becomes very hard to even control the car. So yeah, it's plenty of action here today, even with the reduced grid, and it is Phil Malone who takes the top step of the podium, ahead of Zoxon in second place and Aero, clawing his way back onto the podium for a solid third place finish to maximise his points tally and make sure that he has the race as optimised as he can to keep himself in the championship hunt, with only now 2 races left to go. So yeah, plenty to discuss and to dissect here, but I think we have the rather unusual scenario where pretty much everyone in the top 4 is going to be disappointed about something or other that happened in the race. So yeah, slightly unusual stuff, but congratulations to our podium finishers and to everyone who did indeed make it to the checkered flag nonetheless. So yeah, unfortunately we're not a chance to have a proper look through the rundown of the grid there. I don't really know why, but yeah, anyway, we will head on now, with that out of the way, to a short break. We'll be back in a few minutes of time for the driver interviews and for the driver of the day poll. So yeah, take a break and we'll be back in a Alright, welcome back everybody. We are here once again with the Driver of the Day poll underway in the chat. That's both Twitch chat and League chat, so make sure to go and vote on that, and we'll try to announce the winner by the end of the stream, as long as one of us remembers. And yeah, with that, we can get underway the interviews for this race, which unfortunately will be slightly shortened again this week, as I do have stuff to do afterwards, so yeah, we'll be getting 3 interviews in. First, we'll have Phil, then we'll have Aero, and then we'll have Nade. So let's start things off by bringing in our race winner for today. Phil Malone. Hello.
Phil Malone.
Welcome in.
Welcome in.
Yeah, welcome in. You hearing us okay?
Yes.
Alright, very nice. So, yeah, a pretty interesting race at Hungary, or at least by Hungary standards, and certainly one that I think just about ended up working out well for you, but there was a lot of different ways where it could have gone wrong, and where perhaps you wouldn't have been the favourite for quite a lot of the race. So, yeah, talk us through your side of things.
I wasn't the favorite, or so basically I didn't see myself winning today. I thought like, oh yeah, it's gonna be P5 or something. But yeah, it's just staying with the other guys in the DRS, with staying with Soxon, who had the faster car, and be actually able to stay with him helped me tremendously here. Then Arrow shitting himself, which is really unfortunate. I wouldn't have overtaken Arrow at any point actually. He was like, the Alpine is horrible to drive around this track, so I felt miserable the entire time. Like, I knew I had to give it everything, and it was everything I had. So, and in the end, it was, I guess, a bit more luck than actual skill that helped me to win. But I think it's not undeserved. At least I would have seen Soxon rather to win. To be fair.
I think the main thing from your side is that the one thing you were able to do that Zuxon wasn't was keep the car on the track and avoid getting a penalty, which is obviously always very important in these races and is no small achievement in and of itself. So yeah, I think you from your side you can't be disappointed at all. You maximised what you had today. Was the talking on the strategy side of things, was that kind of one step always just the plan for you, or were you just following everyone else around you into the pits whenever they decided to?
No. So Nade had I discussed with Nade what we're gonna do for strategy today, and he went really early. I tried that out, and it felt miserable throughout the entire race, especially in the later halves when we knew that the mediums are pretty bad. So I wanted to get rid of him at some point. So I tried the undercut, which worked out in the end, but I still was behind Arrow. But then we got this whole unfortunate timing where Soxon went out, which was really unfortunate timing for him. But yeah, I stayed with them in the group from this point. So yeah, this worked out pretty well in the end.
Yeah, I think it definitely did. So it was a pretty sensible call from you. Good job on that. And yeah, speaking on that kind of strategy and planning side of things with Nade, what was the communication like between you two come the end of the race, when obviously he was on the older tyres and you were having to get past him at some point? Was that always the plan, or just talk me through the discourse between you guys?
He had priority one the whole time till we both noticed that I could go still faster because of it's just 3 laps newer tires, but we noticed that really fairly early that yeah, if we cannot push each other. He lost too much time over the laps, especially in sector 2, while I could push my car more, and we noticed that I could still keep off of Soxon. So then the communication was pretty clear that I'm gonna pass. So the pass on the straight was my attempt actually to put to DRS boost with him, but yeah, he lost too much time. So that's why we decided I'm gonna give it my best to try to keep up with Soxon, and in the end, it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, indeed. I think it's good to hear that you guys had the full open communication all the way through. That's always what you want to strive for in the team. And I think, though obviously nowadays a penalty right at the death unfortunately cost you guys a 1-3 finish. I think it's still very solid points for Alpine, and I think surely must put you into the lead of the constructors now, or at the very least very close.
We are already, so this will extend our lead.
Very nice. Well, yeah, congratulations on that, Mountie. You got anything to ask?
Hell, my favorite German. How you feeling?
So I'm not as sweaty as the other guys. I heard like a lot. So Arrow supposedly fogged up his window when he tried to open it. So
Oh, shit.
I'm actually pretty chill right now. Maybe I could have pushed more, but then I would have risked the penalty. So I'm pretty certain that I was calm enough to keep it on the road and actually somehow win this.
Good race. Were you any scared at the end that Zoxan maybe could have done that gap, a 3-second gap to you, or no? Were you always in?
Yeah, the whole time it was there because the Ferrari is just way ahead on pace of the Alpine. Like you should try it. You basically feel not connected. You feel connected but too connected. You want to turn, but it's not giving you that what you want. It's kind of hard to describe. So the whole time of my whole practice, it didn't really click with the car, and also not today. But it was enough that somehow I am on the top step.
Great race. That's all for me.
Yeah, and from my side as well, unless there's anything more to add for you, then I think, yeah, just congratulations on a good drive and extracting more from today's race than perhaps you expected going in. One last thing I'll ask actually is, how do you feel about next week's race in, where are we next week? I've already forgotten, it's Mexico, isn't it?
Ooh, Mexico.
Mexico is an oddball as always. It's not that often driven. So if attendance hopefully is better than today, it could be very interesting what will happen. A lot of overtaking opportunities there, not like here. But I will have to see how much I'm gonna practice for Mexico or not. I guess it boils down to that and how the car feels there.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, best of luck for that. And I think you must also be in contention at the very least for the Drivers' Championship as well. Is that something you're thinking about at this stage?
Maybe depends. Like I will miss the last race,
I see.
so it's not on my mind. If it's enough, then it's enough. If it's not enough, then it's not enough. So I just take what I will get.
Alright, fair enough. Well, in that case, I won't keep you around any longer. Just say congratulations on today and good luck for next week.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Congrats, brother.
Bye-bye. Alright, moving on to our third place finisher, because that was who responded first. That's going to be Aero, and we'll get him in to talk about, I think, from his view, what will be a race that could have been. So let's see how he's feeling. Aero, hello.
Oh, hello.
Welcome in. I think, yeah, I was just saying that I think today for you this is going to feel like a little bit of a missed opportunity today, but still you're able to salvage a good result, getting yourself into the podium, albeit with a little bit of help from Nade right at the end. But yeah, I think there's probably some positives, but also some negatives to take away from today. So talk us through the action from your side of things.
So I think you explained it pretty well, because I basically was pushing 99% pace all the way throughout the race, and just the Ferrari and the Alpine were just unplayable. Like literally, my poor Williams was burning its tires. I couldn't go any faster. So yeah, it's, I guess, looking at the race, Zoxon was gonna win anyway. But maybe I could have gotten a P2 if I didn't make that mistake. But that's about it, really. I'm not disappointed with the P3.
Was speaking of the mistake, was it how exactly did that play out from your end? Because it seemed like there might have been a little bit of contact with Nade, him being slow off of turn one. How exactly was it?
Yeah, so actually, no, that didn't have anything to do with it. Like, yeah, I was going faster on the exit. I tapped him a little bit, but honestly, that was not the reason why I spawned. I don't know. I think just I hit a drop off there, and I just lost the rear basically. But yeah, that's if that didn't happen, maybe I could have gotten P2. But then again, it's just hypothetical, so I don't know.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, we did see in the end, obviously, Zuxon took the checkered flag first, but the 3-second penalty ended up coming back to bite him. So, who knows, maybe he'd have been able to continue fighting with Phil all the way to the end for the win. But yeah, and I think from your side, aside from that mistake, you as you described, did everything that you could today and did everything that the Williams would allow you to do. So I think you can still be happy with salvaging solid 15 points from the race, and I think it puts you in a decent enough position to where I think if it is your goal, you can still try to contend for the championship. Is that something on your mind?
If given the opportunity, yeah, but having missed the first race, I wouldn't expect to be allowed to fight for it. But if that's the case, then yeah, I'm happy to try my best, of course.
Fair enough. And looking at today's strategy, obviously mentioned on the broadcast that your strategic element is generally one of the better parts of your game. You've got plenty of experience of that. So how was your planning for this race? How did that look?
Honestly, not much planning. I knew medium hard was gonna be the main strategy anyway. I knew hard medium wasn't really worth it around this track. So as soon as Pull Diver did that, I knew we were in a better position if we fought accordingly. But of course, the overtake from Zox, which was a bit forced and made us lose time, brought Pull Diver back into the fight, which was unnecessary, really. But I mean, it made us lose time. It made him gain time. It wasn't really optimal, but yeah, I mean, it's all fair from him, I guess. But yeah, I guess my strategy was just good. No, I don't think it could have put me in a better position anyway. I think exited in front of Zoxon and being able to push and make him push his battery for a bit was good. But yeah, he had Phil behind him, and as I said, the Ferrari was just way too fast. So yeah, nothing I could do.
And just a slightly different kind of question. Phil mentioned some kind of issue with your window that you were talking about. Could you explain that for us?
So I finished the race, and I looked to my right, and my window was all fogged up, basically, like full of like fog. Because I got so hot, I sweat so much during this race that I was basically my room was just super hot, and I'm still hot. I absolutely need to take a shower.
Yeah, the Portugal issues there. Yeah, that's that's most of the questions from me. Mountie, you got anything to ask?
I'll just ask a quick one. This kind of is like a weird question. It's gonna sound like, but do you feel like you deserve that P3, or you feel like personally because of that mistake, you feel like you just got a cheap one, or do you really feel like, no, I deserve to finish in the podium?
No. I think I deserve it for sure. I think it would be, I think, like, exaggerated for me to say I deserve the P2 because effectively I did a mistake, and that's why that's on me.
Yeah.
But the P3 I definitely deserve it because I pushed all the time. I legit just extracted the most I could from the car and from the strategy. So from the race management as well. I honestly couldn't have done anything better.
All right.
That's all for me.
Yeah, good to hear. And yeah, we have Mexico is going to be the next of the races. Is that a track that you feel confident about?
Yeah, I like Mexico quite a lot. But again, there's very little control I have over my races, to be honest. So it's gonna depend on the others, basically.
Fair enough.
And yeah, depends how the Williams space is.
Yeah, well, all I can say is that we wish you good luck for that race when it comes around, and yeah, congratulations on still salvaging a P3 from today's race.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys.
Good race, brother.
Yeah. Alright, and we can move straight on to P3 finisher, P3 almost finisher, I should say, of Nade, who ended up finishing
Salt in the wound,
P4.
brother.
I hate to rub it in there. Apologies, but yeah, it's screen sharing at the moment, so let's hope he's not too locked in to Belatra. Let's get him in. Nade, hello.
Hello.
Sorry to interrupt your gaming session there. Hope the Belatra is going well. To console you after the race, but yeah, I think today was a race of ups and downs, a bit of a roller coaster for you. There was a lot of potential. The strategy looked at times like it might work, at times like it wasn't gonna. Almost had the podium, but then fell away on the final lap. So, yeah, how was today's action from your point of view?
Uh, yeah, it was really weird. I, I was pushing 99% of the time. I am tired as hell. I haven't pushed this hard in ever. Just to keep like Aero behind after the pit stops, because I knew the medium tire just drops off like after 7 8 laps. So I was like, yeah, let's just get off it as soon as I could. But then, yeah, it just I didn't expect that much of a tire wear at the end, and yeah, I just started to fall off, and yeah, that 3 second penalty right at the last sector was painful.
Yeah, I can imagine the hurt there. I think we already spoke to Phil. Obviously, he was telling us about how you tried to coordinate things in that race, especially towards the end. Once you ended up getting close to each other and almost, I mean, yeah, you almost had a 1-2, but then the tires started to drop, like you say, and ended up third, and then the penalty. Yeah. What corner did you actually pick up the penalty at? 'Cause we didn't quite see it.
The last warning was at the, I don't know, it's like turn 12, I think it is.
Was it the
No.
left hairpin or the right hander 90?
The one before the hairpin,
Right.
actually. So yeah, it just the tires, especially the front left. I just had so much understeer, and I was lifting through. Yeah, okay, I have the map here. I was lifting through 9, 11, and 12 just to get the car rotated,
Yeah.
because it was either understeer and get the warning, or oversteer and just spin out. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I chose one of the two.
It was
Yeah.
always going to be a tricky balance. So were you confident that the earlier stop was gonna work and that the tie work wouldn't be too much?
Um, I was confident in the fact that I was gonna get a big gap,
Hmm.
and I was gonna be able to at least maintain it until the end. But I didn't account for Aero just being a fucking beast and pushing the whole time. And yeah, so because I was said like, okay, if I can manage a little bit, I can take them to the end, easy, get like go from like a 10 second gap, 8 second gap to a, I don't know, 3 4 second gap. But then I just started pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and I was pushing, and I just took a lot out of the tires. And yeah.
I think it was the theory was there for sure, but unfortunately, it just didn't quite play out in the way that you'd have hoped. But I think still a valiant effort nonetheless. Was there anything aside from that that you might have wanted to do differently in this race? I mean, obviously there was a couple of points to improve upon, but I think would you change your approach?
No, actually no, because first off, everyone knows in Hungary quali is priority, and I had an amazing quali.
Mhm.
I pulled that lap out of nowhere, if I'm being honest. And yeah, it was just, I mean, managing the tires a little bit, maybe. Um, Maybe I could have extended one more lap on the mediums to help me on the hards, but aside from that, I didn't lose that much time. I had good race. Just unfortunate right at the end with the drop off.
Yeah. Well, I think the main thing is you were still able to salvage some solid points from the race, even if it was falling away from you. And speaking of that, I think looking towards the championship standings, do you think you're going to be in position to fight for the driver's title?
This time, I doubt it. But like my full focus is on the constructors.
Mhm.
I'm helping Phil because I think he has more of a chance than me right now.
I think
And
I think he will have more points, but as he was telling us, he will have to miss the final race. So
yeah, then let's see how he pans out. I don't want to have predictions without knowing the numbers first. But if I have a shot, I mean, I'll try to take it as much as I can. But priority is the constructors, which we have the lead on right now, and we just put a big dent on it. So I'm pretty happy about that.
all right, well that's pretty much everything from me. Mountie, you got anything to ask?
Yeah, we'll just ask one short question. At the end, when you see that penalty warning coming up on you, what do you feel like? Is it the heartbreak, anger, deception, sadness? What is it?
Disappointment, I would say, because I the first warning was when right at the beginning of the race when I was battling Aero and we both went wide at the end of the first sector in the fast left-hander, and 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 the second one was when I started to get the aforementioned understeer in 9 and 11, and when I was just trying to control it, trying to see how much I could push and not whatnot. So and those were like lap 3 and lap 5. So
Oh wow.
going the whole race without another penalty, another warning, and then just getting them in the last sector,
Last
in the last
sector.
lap, it was just
Agony.
like,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's horrible. It's horrible.
Do you think there'd be any chance you could get the first one removed?
No, 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 no. They're all fine. I think it was the first one. The thing is, we were pushing, and we both went wide at the same time. It was just
Yeah.
a thing of we were both pushing each other to go faster, and yeah, we went over the track limits.
Yes.
And but yeah, they're all fair, I would say.
All right. Well, with that out of the way, I won't leave you to rub the pain anymore. We can look ahead to next week. So, Mexico is going to be the next race. Is that a track that you're fond of?
I mean, it's the closest I'll
Yeah,
get to
almost
a
a whole
home
Grand Prix
race.
for
Yeah.
us in Costa Rica. Yeah, it's the closest one, man.
Yeah, it's close, so I'll try to do the best for my people.
Well, I can only wish you the best of that. So, yeah, good luck for next week's race. Congratulations on at least salvaging the P4 today, and commiserations on the missed opportunities there.
Yeah, thank you, man. Bye.
All right, see you next week.
Gracias, huh?
All right, and with that out of the way, we can head onto our clips for stream section and take a look at what these
Let
guys
me
have
see
got
your
for us.
screen.
I will do exactly that. Okay, let's see. Where are these? Where are the clips starting today? We have.
I want to see that sandwich again. I hope someone clipped it.
Yeah. Okay. Let me start up the screen share real quick. Do this, and let's do this. Right. So, head of the Ferrari driver. First clip is actually one that Pluto's taken from the stream. Actually, the first two clips are taken from the stream. So, let's pull those up. Give me a second. There's this scene. There we go. Very nice. All right. Let's take a look at this. I shouldn't need that. Okay. Driver on the track, and still these guys are getting held up by Blazer once again. So this is from lap 13 here. This is some of Blazer's antics. Still impeding these guys. He hops the curb, pushes Phil way wide there. Head of the Yeah, this is just Blazer stuff. Blazer heritage, some might say. You know, just a little bit of.
This is Blazer heritage.
Yeah,
These are investments from the past.
Doing his country proud with some beautiful
It's
American terrorism.
crazy. That's crazy. Overrides the curves and just turns in the middle of the. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's no, not his finest work in terms of racecraft, but also not his finest race in general. So who knows how locked in he truly was. Move on to another one. This is Pool Diver coming to the pits, and you're going to get to see here what I saw earlier on. Enjoy this.
Given that Blazer is instantly retired, I don't think that's going to be the
Oh,
case.
what
but
is
unfortunately,
this?
F24 has struck in prime
Oh
fashion,
my
and
goodness.
Blazer's
Yeah.
That
red
would
card
punch a
decided to stop
hole in my
halfway
screen.
down the
What
pit
is
lane, and
this?
that held up Pool Diver for a good few seconds there.
Yeah, that is absolutely disgusting Codemasters buggery
Nasty,
there.
That's nasty.
It's... I don't even know how they manage that, because when you retire in the pit lane, your AI is supposed to just take
Close.
control and drive you onto the track and just park up somewhere. But no, he just stops in the middle of the pit lane, because of course. Yeah, it's. I think I honestly think it's one we might have even seen before in LRC at some point, which goes to show just how great these guys are at actually fixing the broken fucking game. But yeah.
He needs to take that. No.
Aside from that, we have another clip from the stream. The actual drivers felt like posting anything just yet, so I think we should get some of those afterwards.
They love hearing us. That's why.
Arrow spins it.
Yeah.
He was right up behind Nade, coming out of the corner there. Nade.
Yeah, it's just some beautiful noob action from Arrow there. So, you know.
Nade needs to defend Arrow for.
Oh yeah, you can actually see it from.
What happened?
You can see it from that angle. So I thought that he'd latched onto the back of the Alpine. I know the physics can get weird like that sometimes, but I think it was more so just a case, like you described, of just the rear just breaks traction completely, and he's just
And
gone.
Arrow spins it.
Yeah.
That's pretty unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
All right, first clip from one of the actual drivers, and let's take a look at this one from Zuxon. This is from qualifying here, right at the end of qualifying. Obviously, ended up qualifying P5, so let's see this. Okay, that's pretty interesting. That's
something.
If anyone can explain to me how this does not constitute a track limits violation, I will happily, I'll wait. I've got all year. Please.
Wheels are on behind the whites.
It's not even remotely close.
He also cuts the curb like it's like nothing, like a Sunday drive.
Yeah, he's like miles off the track here, and the game just decides, you know what, you've earned some good grace. You can have this one. Maybe. Well, honestly, you know what?
You know what he just did.
Maybe this is why he got the penalty in the race. He paid his price early. Because he didn't invalidate this lap, he was guaranteed to get a penalty. Yeah, I don't know. Just more beautiful, more of the beautiful game from Codemasters. Yeah. Next clip from Zuxon. Let's look at this. Pause. There we go. Let's have a look.
Oh, is that when they came all together from the pits?
I think it is going to be just that, yeah. Zuxon being on the inside, and I think knowing by this stage that he's not going to be in the optimal position, and certainly knowing that by now.
Right in the fight, Zuxon.
Yep.
And he gets a warning there. That is, yeah, that is painful.
Yeah, he was pushing.
He was,
Phil was like sandwiched in there, if I remember.
yeah, he was. I mean, there's nothing Zuxon can do about this, really. I do wonder if he will try to make some kind of appeal to the stewards about getting one of the warnings removed. I don't think it would happen in this case, at the very least.
No, the front left is on the right side.
I mean, he's certainly off the track, but what you can argue is that you were forced off the track. So I do wonder if he'll try to make that case, but I don't think that's going to fall in his favour in this case. Though it is close enough to where he might have an argument, but either way, it's very unfortunate stuff for him there. And one more clip from Zuxon. Let's take a look at this one from lap number 14 of the race, so one lap later. Going to be eyeing up a dive on Aero, and yeah, that one he certainly won't have a case for. That was just a mistake.
Yeah. I got my second warning right at turn 1 when everyone was beneath, next to me.
Yeah, I think it's that one was just same corner, but that one was certainly more of his own mistake rather than getting crowded to the inside.
You can see he realized it pretty much straight away.
Yeah,
He's
unfortunate.
yeah.
Alright, do we have some more? Yes, we do, from Phil. Let's take a look from today's race winner at his first clip.
Can you guys crush?
No.
We're not planning on it.
This is from lap 5 of the race here, so right in the thick of the DRS train. I think this is going to be the 3 wide moment here. That's what you're looking for.
Yes, I wanted to see this. Oh my goodness, look at this.
You idiots! Fucking hell.
No space.
Yeah, I think from Phil's side, I mean, he's obviously upset to not have the space. I think by this point, he's certainly far enough alongside that he is entitled to be left, the full breadth of racing room. So he's right to be frustrated. Now, some will say that his racing sense should have probably kicked in and told him maybe let's not make it 3 wide here, but the rules are the rules, and the rules entitle him to space in this scenario, so he's well within his rights to go for the move here. And it's just very lucky that this didn't end up panning out a lot worse. Yeah,
no damage too. That's crazy for me.
I don't think anyone got damage from that. It was it was a squish, but I think the wings did stay intact. Next one from Phil. And this is going to be with Zuxon next in the pits. Here's the other angle.
Zuxon.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Doxon. Let me go. Thank you.
Okay, what is the expected pit lap
Oh
for
my
David?
fucking god. Worst timing I can never have to hit.
Yeah, and you can hear
Ferrari.
the
Oh, great.
the disappointment from Zuxon, and then Phil.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Idiots.
Oh, kind of pushed him off. I can't
Oh
lie.
my god.
Yeah, I think he did more than kind of push him off. So,
Yeah, I can kind of
It's,
no space there, but you gotta keep the bias at a minimum.
yeah, he was,
Of course, I'm in the Ferrari.
like we say, not one of Blaze's best moments, and predictably, Phil not best pleased with it.
Oh my god.
But
Idiots.
what I was gonna mention is the fact that Zuxon was also very, yeah, you could hear his displeasure because I think he knew full well that moment had the power to determine his race and determine it not in his favour, but he did overcome it. So, yeah, that's tough things, and there goes Era.
I don't know. What happened?
Oh my god.
Of course.
This is the misery cam. Yeah, just completely breaks traction.
I don't know. What
It
happened?
looks like it's out of nowhere when you see in front of you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
There's nothing he could have done to hold on to that. That's just the tiny bit too much throttle, and you cross the threshold, and you're sent to the history books. So yeah, unfortunate for him, but as we already spoke to him, he did manage to make a fairly strong recovery from that, and I'm sure he'll be back next week with a vengeance, trying to get himself back to the top step if it's possible in Mexico. But yeah, that is going to round out everything for today's action. That is all of the clips done. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in today and joining us for this slightly scuffed stream. Obviously, the delayed start. I can only apologise again for that. And I can only apologise to Zuxon as well. Unfortunately, I do have to make a rushed end. Otherwise, we would have loved to have an interview for you. But you know what? We'll save it for next week. Next week, you can have 2 interviews for the price of 1. There we go. How about that?
Yes.
But yeah, next week we'll have plenty of time. Unfortunately, that was not quite the case today, but at least we were able to get something out of it. And yeah, have you got any closing thoughts on today's action?
Oh, I think a lot of drama with the penalties. Obviously, I think penalties again took a big part of this race, but it was a great race overall.
Yeah, I couldn't say too much more myself. So yeah, I think we can certainly look forward to Mexico. If Hungary's able to put on a good race, then I'm sure Mexico will absolutely be able to do the same. I would expect we'll probably have a stronger attendance for next week as well. So more cars, more passing zones, and more action to go around, and probably a lot more penalties as well, because you know how the track limits are there. So yeah, you won't want to miss that. Penultimate round of the championship, things are going to start to hard up, even if every driver seems to believe that they don't stand a chance. Someone will unfortunately have to take the title, obviously. Everybody's very disappointed. Elias isn't here to do it for them this time, so yeah. Somebody's going to take it, but we don't know who it's going to be just yet, and next week might clue us in just a little bit more to who that's going to be. So, yeah, make sure to join us again for this at the same time, and we'll be back for round 4 of 5 in the Realistic Performance Off-Season Championship. We'll see you then.
See you, bye.